Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to this episode of BiblioTech on Air. I'm Rosanna.
I'm Israel.
I'm Jesse.
And today we will be talking about House of the Dragon, briefly recapping episodes 2 through 4 and going a bit more in depth about episode 5. I would like to make a special dedication for this episode though. This is dedicated in loving memory of Rhaenys Targaryen and Meleys, a baddie and her dragon baddie. We love you. We miss you. Fly high, queens.
The queen who never was. The queen who should have been.
Queen who should have been for sure.
Yeah.
Queen of my heart.
Yeah. And then just quickly, just needs to be said, this episode of BiblioTech on Air will contain spoilers for House of the Dragon seasons 2 and season 1 as well, if we do talk about season 1. In this episode, before we start, I'd like to highlight 2 resources that we have available. So we have Fire and Blood by George R.R. Martin. So check out the book that inspired House of the Dragon, Fire and Blood. So just as the show does, Fire and Blood details the Targaryen dynasty's rise and rule, filled with epic battles, political intrigue, and dragon lore. This book is available on Cloud Library and Hoopla. We definitely do suggest checking it out today with your BiblioTech library card. In addition to that, we do have a history book. It's The World of Ice and Fire, The Untold History of the World of Game of Thrones. Again by George R.R. Martin. The World of Fire and Ice is a definitive companion piece to George R.R. Martin's dazzling conceived universe. It accumulates knowledge, scholarly speculation, and inherited folktales of maesters, septons, magi, and singers, including in-depth explorations of history and the culture of Westeros. It does touch on the events that we see in House of the Dragon, so definitely check that out with your library card.
And then also, there will be mature themes talked about in this episode, so please be mindful of that as well. If it is not something you want to talk about, there will be violence, possibly themes of grief.
Yeah, listener's discretion. Okay, let's get right into it. So we're just going to quickly recap the episodes that we have not talked about yet. So episode 2 was called Rhaenyra the Cruel. So Kristen Cole orders Eric, one of the twins, to kill Rhaenyra by infiltrating Dragonstone disguised as his twin Eric. So that's Eric with an E and Eric with an A. So Team Green Eric enters Rhaenyra's chambers. Team Black Eric bursts in and a fight ensues, ending with Eric killing his brother and then himself, sadly. Very sad. Aegon, at this time, he's looking for a wartime hand. He wants a wartime consigliere. He does not want a peaceful guy. So Aegon removes Otto Hightower, which that was awesome to see, guys, as the hand, and appoints Kristen Cole. So that is Rhaenyra the Crew, episode 2. Episode 3, The Burning Mill, one of the first major battles, I believe, right, Jesse?
Yes, one of the first of about 20 battles that are going to take place over the course of 2 years.
1 of 20. I love it. So we see the outcome of the Battle of the Burning Mill. People from House Bracken and House Blackwood die. Yeah, we didn't see the battle, but we did see the aftermath.
Yeah,
it was
I know,
pretty
it was insane.
Yeah, it was pretty bloody, bodies everywhere. Daemon, and this episode begins his adventure in Harrenhal to
Luigi's
try to
Mansion.
rally the armies of the Riverlands. And so essentially he's trying to rally up House Bracken and House Blackwood, right? So he's over there doing his thing, kind of annoying at this point for me personally. Later on in the episode, Rhaenyra sneaks into King's Landing with the help of Massaria, who is now her Master
advisor.
Whispers.
There you go.
Master Whispers. And she secretly meets with Alicent, but fails to negotiate a peaceful resolution. She realizes Alicent misunderstood King Viserys' dying words about Aegon as concerning Alicent's son Aegon II, not Aegon the Conqueror.
Which the memes about that,
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah,
oh
for
my
real.
Goodness. If I send you this picture and it's of Rhaenyra dressed as a nun, it means I think you are dumb.
And then episode 4, The Red Dragon and the Gold.
Rip.
So this is where Meleys and Rhaenys die, unfortunately. So Kristen Cole, he's gathering armies in favor of Team Green. They enter the bend, and they either bend the knee or they die. So that happens. Then in this episode, we have the Battle of Rook's Rest. So Kristen Cole and Aemon have a plan to take the castle of Lord Staunton, which is a council member of Team Black. So it's a pretty big deal. The castle's, even Team Black and Aegon himself, he's like, why are we taking this castle? There's no point. But the point is that this is a council member of Rhaenyra's team. So it's a pretty big deal. Rhaenyra decides to respond by sending Rhaenys and her dragon Meleys falling into Aemon and Kristen's trap. So Aegon messes it up by flying to Rook's Rest with Sunfire, and it culminates to our first big dragon fight. It was just amazing. It was awesome seeing those dragons in the air. I will say I was expecting a little bit more, but for what we got, it was pretty cool.
Yeah,
it was pretty cool. So a battle ensues between Aemon and Vhagar, Aegon and Sunfire, and then Rhaenys and Meleys. Rhaenys and Meleys die, and Aegon is torched by his brother Aemon. And tries to finish the job.
But not without Rhaenys doing some serious damage to
Yeah,
Vhagar,
yeah,
which was kind of
definitely.
like the main point of all that.
Mhm,
So
yeah, did y'all? I'm glad she went out like a badass.
Oh,
She really
absolutely.
did. Yeah.
I really like the idea that Rhaenys was always seen as the responsible dragon rider and never wanted to use dragon fire, only as a last resort. So even when she was going in to fight Vhagar, she didn't yell out the term Dracarys for the dragon fire. She just said attack the target because she knew all the people were down there. Very responsible. She would have made an amazing queen.
Absolutely.
Yeah, compared to Aemon and Vhagar, man, Aemon saw his opportunity. He was like, I'm
I'ma
gonna
take
do
it.
it. Yeah, I saw a funny meme that was like, Aegon was probably like, yes, my brother's here, and then just like, bam,
Yep.
dead.
Oh man.
So now on to episode 5. It is called Regent. So the episode begins with Kristen Cole parading the head of the dragon Meleese. What did y'all think about this horror and atrocity, which it was?
I thought the scene was very impactful. I thought that, Kristen Cole thinking that they were going to parade the head in and everyone was going to be cheering, and he was sorely wrong on that. Everybody's kind of looking at the head and kind of thinking to themselves,
Yeah.
I thought Targaryens were gods.
Yeah.
And just more kind of spooked than anything.
Yeah, like there was that one individual that was like, I thought they were gods, right? They said exactly that. What implications do you think it's going to have, like, on the townspeople and I guess the whole realm as a whole?
Well, so Otto did a really good job of running his propaganda campaign, and I think Aegon dismissing him and trying to do it on his own is kind of undoing all that work, and this is kind of the final nail in that coffin.
I just wonder, like, why Kristen Cole thought that was a good idea.
Because he's dumb.
Yeah, like, he definitely is dumb, but like, what did you think?
It kind of shows you that him being Hand of the King, he's definitely that military mind. In all fours, he's not a politician.
He is definitely not a politician. He's not a strategic. It's like he just acts and that's it.
It's. I feel like it was kind of like a dig at Rhaenyra too. Like,
Yeah,
look what
I'm
we did to
sure.
one of your precious
Yeah.
dragons. But there was an interesting take that I did see on it, where kind of like how the people were just kind of quiet and reacting amongst themselves. The take was that this side, who's supposed to be, also like Targaryen house, like real Targaryens would never do something like that to their dragon. So seeing how these people are treating their dragons compared to like, Rhaenyra and how they, kind of revere the dragons and respect them, that kind of like, is a big differentiating point for them.
Yeah, they have no honor. They have no respect for the
Facts.
dragons. One thought that I did have was, how did they cut the head of the dragon off? Because that could not have been easy. Did they maybe use Vhagar to just like bite it off, or
Or maybe like when
'Cause,
she
like,
fell on impact, maybe that kind of helped to loosen it a little bit. And then, but yeah, that's gonna take some manpower.
yeah, like that's not a easy thing to do. So I just wonder how they did that. And then Rhaenys, is her body just at the castle, or
Well, there was
did-
that comment from Bela, I think, who was just like, I can't stand the idea of, my grandma's body lying broken among the rest of them. So I'm
so they
assuming
must still be over there.
probably.
Still over there, yeah.
Yeah, we do transfer over to a next scene, and we see the damaged body of Aegon. Right, so he was carried in like this, like a coffin almost. I actually thought it was Rhaenys at
That's
first,
what I thought too.
but we do find out that it's Aegon. And they lay him on the bed, and there they remove the plates of armor, and I mean he's in like extremely bad shape, super bad shape. With Aegon bedridden, they need to appoint a steward, right? What did y'all make of the small council meeting? Did y'all think Alicent was expecting that type of reaction when she nominated herself?
I feel like she should have accepted that reaction, because this whole war is being fought based on the fact that a woman should not rule the kingdom. And here she is trying to place herself as regent. She should not have been surprised that they picked her son.
Because she kind of did the same thing to Rhaenyra, and now it's kind of like, oh, you're getting a taste of that too.
Yeah.
So,
I
what
was-
do you expect?
It was like it sucked to see, but it was a
Yeah.
little bit like, that's what you get.
Yeah.
And what did
Yeah.
you expect?
Because like the last episode and this one, it was like that cumulative point where
Mm-hmm.
she realizes, oh man, I messed up.
She's a little, I don't know, her self-awareness is not all there
No.
for her to expect them to accept her. This, like you said, Jesse, this whole war is about Rhaenyra being a woman and, not being accepted, right? So I'm not sure why she thought that they were going to accept her.
She's definitely missing her dad there. Her dad was a great source of
Yeah,
knowledge,
definitely,
experience. We're
definitely.
missing him.
And so we find out that they name Aemon as the king regent.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on that? You know, his leadership style, he goes right into it. He's like, you do this, you do this, you do this, go.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Well, in the books, it makes it pretty clear Aemond is more or less psychotic, so it's not going to bode well at all for the war.
It's kind of the vibes it was giving, you know, like, okay, this is about to get way more brutal, way more bloody very quickly.
Yeah, which, I mean, as a viewer, I'm cool with. That's pretty good. What did y'all think of his decision to close the gates? That's pretty big.
I mean, you pretty much had to. Everybody was going to flee the sight of the dragon's head being paraded down the streets and the lack of food. You were looking at King's Landing being completely empty, so didn't have a choice there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then later on in the episode, we do see people trying to leave, and it's so sad because we see Hugh the Hammer. He's with his wife or his girlfriend or his partner, and they have a daughter, and she's like sick and dying. I'm like, oh my God, his wife's gonna die, his daughter's gonna die, he's gonna be left with nothing, and that's gonna be the turning point for him. At least that's what I'm thinking. I guess the decision to close the gates makes a little bit sense, but man, was it the wrong decision?
Yeah, absolutely.
It was definitely the wrong decision. The right decision was to cut those rat catchers down, though.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Right.
That little dog has my whole heart. That little baby, loyal to the end.
They need to make a show just based on Maylee's the dragon and Cheese's dog.
Yeah, that'd be so good.
Besties.
Adventures.
Oh my goodness. It'll be like Milo and Otis, but yeah.
What I did like what they were doing with the rat catchers was that they were showing them every episode like hung there. Yeah, and they were just showing the deterioration of like the bodies and the decomposition and stuff like that.
That was one of Eamon's first orders too. He was like da and cut the rat catchers down.
Yeah,
So
that was the right decision to do. It does shift over in the episode. Frustrated and restless, Jacaerys takes off to the Twins, which is the home of House Frey, and in a successful attempt to find passage for the Stark Oldbeers coming from the north. What did you all think of Jacaerys' preemptive move, and how effective do you think his diplomatic efforts will strengthen Team Black?
It was a good scene to watch. It's good to see Jacaerys finally do something. His mom was not letting him do anything at all, and it took him defying her orders to actually do something. And what's funny is in the book, a lot of the accomplishments that Rhaenyra has, Jace actually does that in the book. So they're kind of giving that credit to Rhaenyra in the show. So it was just nice to see that character do something.
I love that whole interaction.
Yeah, that was good.
That was really good. I'm not gonna lie, I was expecting him to be made a fool of. Like, these are two full-grown adults. They're lords of their house. And then you have Jacaerys, who's still learning the ropes and things like that. Might not be as diplomatic, even though he went there with that intention. So I thought they were gonna be like, "Leave, boy. We don't want you. You're just a youngling. You're not even. You're nothing. You're nothing." But I loved. They were like, "Oh well, we want this and we want Harrenhal, right?" And he's like, "Okay, well then we're gonna need bent knees."
That was
awesome. Yeah.
I don't know if y'all noticed though. I thought it was kind of cool how when he's like with like the council, his mom, talking to House Frey and stuff. He was of course much more diplomatic, kind of more manly, sure of himself. But then with Baela, like there's much more of a boyishness to him, and I was just like, oh, look at that. I mean, you forget that sometimes these characters are still like babies, and you totally saw that with Baela.
And I love what they're doing with Baela and Jacaerys.
Love them.
I just need them to get together already. I need a little romance,
But also Baela the baddie. Like,
oh yeah, definitely. She is awesome. We'll get to that later on.
We have to.
But did y'all like seeing Jace take on a more firm role?
For sure.
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
that's his mom. That you can tell that's Rhaenyra's son right there.
Yeah.
Taking action, but he still kept it diplomatic.
He's ready to take that sword out, dude. He always has his hand on that hilt, man.
He's ready, yeah.
He is so ready. Just like he needs to be let loose.
I thought it was funny thinking about the twins and the bridge. It's like, why wouldn't the Targaryens build their own bridge at some point? Why does every single time we need an army to cross, we have to go to the furthest?
That's true, yeah.
They're like the dragons are bridges.
And we will be back after these messages.
Unlock a world of knowledge and entertainment with your very own BiblioTech card. Visit bearbibliotech.org to register online or stop by one of our 4 convenient locations. With your BiblioTech card, you gain access to thousands of ebooks, audiobooks, and a variety of cutting-edge technology services, all for free. Whether you're looking to dive into a new book, join a tech class, or explore 3D printing, BiblioTech has something for everyone. Don't wait. Get connected today at bearbibliotech.org or visit us in person. BiblioTech, your library without limits.
And now we're back.
Alrighty, so we do shift over now to Damon and his adventure in Harrenhal. He's plagued by nightmares, visions, and more. We do get that scene of...
That was weird.
Yeah. That was I thought that was Viserys' wife at first, but then it turns out he's having a dream about his mother.
Basically a Oedipus complex.
Yeah, man. Damon is all messed up, man. He is going through it. I saw a tweet that was like, why is he still sleeping in that bed? Because like that bed is like made from the old tree or something like that.
It's made from the weirwood trees.
Yeah, bro. Like, you know, like just maybe he's sleeping on the floor, maybe like at least.
Maybe that bed is just super comfortable.
It's kind of a combination of things going on. The books say that when you sleep on weirwood trees, you will get dreams, and then Targaryens themselves are vulnerable to dreams. So it's like the two coming together, and like you said, he is going through it.
Yeah, he really is.
Welcome to Silent Hill.
What did you call it? Luigi's Mansion, right? Yeah, definitely. But he's not Luigi. No. I hate Damon. Like, Damon's so cool, but he's also very annoying. Like, okay, so we do find out that he's raising an army for himself, not for Rhaenyra, right? I don't know if I misunderstood that, but when he's talking to Alice, or however you say her name, the witch, he's like, I'm the king. And even when he's talking to the Lord of Harrenhal, he's like, I'm the king. And then the Lord replies with king consort. That was awesome. That was so good.
Slave.
Yeah, for real. So what implications do you think him raising army for himself and not for Rhaenyra is going to have on Team Black?
Well, so Rhaenyra doesn't already trust Daemon, so I mean, it's just going to further show that. The show is definitely taking it into a different direction. Daemon is kind of more whiny in the show. You know, in the book, it's very clear he uses tactics, he uses proper warfare to do what he's doing, and this whole dream sequence doesn't really happen in the books. So it's interesting to see where the show's taking it.
Yeah, I do like that we're getting depth to his character, although this is episode 5, and we've gotten 4 episodes of depth for him, and I'm like, okay, I get it. You know, he's messed up. He needs to be doing something else, man. He needs to be doing something else. You think he's gonna stop being a baby and come to his senses?
Not for a while. They're probably gonna milk it a little bit.
If it plays out similar to what happens in the book, he will come to his senses at some point. He's alienating himself from the Tullys. You saw that one scene that they busted in.
Yeah.
We can't believe you did this. But if it happens like in the books, something major is going to happen, and he'll get there with Rhaenyra.
Probably like by the end of the season, maybe.
I think by the end of the season, it's going to happen.
Okay.
Yeah. It's going to take the entire season, though.
So we get a bit more Daemon tripping.
Yeah. The next episode 6, does seem to like things are going to go down.
Right, because this episode felt very like, you know, kind of building up.
Everyone was kind of licking their wounds from that Battle of Rook's Rest, and so hopefully, you know, Rhaenyra's going to respond just like how the townspeople were scared. She's going to respond. She has to, right? And then Rhaenyra does have the perspective of like, we can't rely on Daemon. Like, you know, if someone has to fight Vhagar, it's going to have to be me, you know, because I'm the queen, and that's just how it has to be, you know, and we can't trust Daemon. One of my favorite scenes from the episodes is between Baela and Corlys. Corlys is in mourning of Rhaenys. I will say I get it, you know, if my significant other dies, I get it. But I'm like, bro, suck it up, man. This is war. This is war. Like, you know, Rhaenys knew what she was getting into. So Baela reminds him, you know, that Rhaenys is not an object, right? Not simply an object that was lost. She was a queen, right? She was a warrior of the realm that the realm will not be the same without. You know, she was the queen that never was. And she hands him the hand of the queen pin, right? And tells him, like, accept it or not. Because Rhaenyra tells Baela, meet with your grandfather. I want him to be my hand. And so Baela's like, literally like, take it or not. I don't care, right? What did y'all think about that interaction?
I mean, she was just kind of a bit of tough love.
How old is Baela?
So in the books, she's younger than she is in the show. The show is aging her up. In the books, she's maybe 12 or 13.
Oh my God.
And in the show, it makes it seem like she's maybe 18 or 19.
Right? Yeah.
Something like that. Even her dragon in the books, it's smaller than it is now. I don't think her dragon is rideable in the books. So Bela and Reyna, they are getting so much expanded roles in the show. It's really good to see. They're really kind of giving those characters some more development.
Well, that's good. I actually found it really refreshing because up until now, all these men are just like, they're so bad. Like, they're ready to fight. You got Kristen Cole making bad decisions. You got Eamon killing his brother. You got Damon over here. You know, you got Corliss, you know, kind of not, you know, understandably sad, but not ready to go. We find out that they have that, you know, that they're unfaithful to their spouses, and Corliss has bastard children.
Which Rhaenys knew.
Yeah, Rhaenys knew. Like before she went to war, she saw one of his sons from another woman, and instead of like Catelyn Stark, who was horrible to Jon Snow, Rhaenys is like, she replies like, your mother must have been very beautiful. Yeah. So it's refreshing. It's refreshing to see you know, Bela take on this position and speak with her grandfather this way. I liked it.
Dropping bars.
For
too.
real. My favorite scene from the episode, it ends with Corliss offering to make Bela the heir of Driftmark, and she like replies so coolly. She's like, I'm blood and fire. Driftmark must pass to Sultan Seal.
Yeah.
I
That's a
love
good
that.
one.
Dude. I was like, yes, yes. I had to rewind it again. I was like, this is so good. Yeah. Shifting towards the end of the episode, right? The episode ends with Jaehaerys and Rhaenyra discussing how they can increase their chances of winning the war, and she states, "I need dragons." Right, so we're left with the implication that they may be, you know, on the search for dragon riders, and we see some potential players, namely Alan and Adam Hull, which are the children of Corliss, and Ulf the White and Hugh the Hammer. So that looks like where they're going. That looks like the direction that they're going in. How does that change everything in the books? You know, how does that roll out in the books?
Actually, so it's funny. It's one of my favorite parts in the books. A lot of people, so basically the Blacks put out the call. We're looking for people with Targaryen blood. We need more dragon riders. And a lot of people answer, and a lot of people die trying to go in and tame
Really?
the dragons. Yes, there's a lot of people that see, man, he's getting burned alive. He's getting legs broken. I'm good. I don't need this. Obviously, how you're alluding to, Israel, some of them are going to succeed. Rhaenyra is going to get more dragon riders, and it's the sowing of the dragon seeds is one of my favorite parts in the book, and it's going to lead up to a major battle that is just amazing.
Yes, I love it. I wonder if they're going to, like, how fast they're going to pace the sowing of the dragons. If it's just going to be all one episode, or if it's going to be over 2 episodes, or maybe the remainder of the season, because I believe we have 4 episodes left.
Yeah.
Is there 8 or 10 episodes?
I believe there's going to be 10.
Yeah, I saw on Wikipedia when I was looking at like the summaries, and I saw only 8 listed, so I'm not sure.
Okay,
Maybe it's like that, how they do the thing where they release like the titles for the first
Yeah,
episodes, and then they wait till it gets closer to like name those.
Yeah. Hopefully it is 10. I don't see why it would be 8 for this time.
Yeah, the sewing should not take, I'm assuming it's not going to take more than 1 episode, because there's a lot of things that have those dragon riders. The story just expands, so there's not a lot of time for the training.
So who do you, at this point in the season, who do you kind of think is winning, Team Black or Team Green?
Well, right now you got to hand it to Team Green. I mean, they made the first dragon kill, and so yeah. And with Kristen Cole rampaging through the Crown Lands, they already took Roseby, Duskendale, Rook's Rest. Got to give it to the Greens.
Yeah, definitely, I agree. To my discomfort, I'm like, oh my God.
I'm with you on that.
I just need the Blacks to get like a really good win.
They need to step it up a little bit.
Yeah,
you know?
well, Rhaenyra, I mean, I understand
they're
she's been a little
trying.
methodical, you know, but come on, girl, you need to do something like pretty impactful. You need to kill someone, you know, someone needs to die.
But also Damon needs to just make his way back. Like, dude.
That guy's annoying, dude.
His character
What a
is
baby.
His character is a lot better in the books. But like we mentioned, him and Rhaenyra later on are going to make a war effort together that will lead into other stuff.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
We love to hear that.
Alrighty.
All right. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of BiblioTech House of the Dragon. Just kidding. BiblioTech on air. Make sure y'all stay tuned for our next episode covering episodes 6 through 10, which is going to be the second half of the season. Again, stay up to date. Follow us on Instagram for upcoming episodes. And until the next time, I'm Rosanna.
I'm Israel.
I'm Jesse.
And we'll catch you on the next episode. Bye.
Dun 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 dun.